Hello, this is Talmir and welcome to another repair video. In this video we are looking at this super busted up iPhone 11, and it's a very fancy looking red one aside the fact that it is so busted up. Now it's obvious that it needs a new back cover, matte glass. The frame is rather beaten up. I don't know how you can see that, but it's got lots of marks. And I have another screen in here right now for testing, and that screen also is not in great shape, so it also needs a new screen. But there is another problem with this phone. It reboots about every 3 to 5 minutes. And there is actually a video I'm going to throw into the video description that I recorded on how to solve that issue with the phone automatically just starting on its own. It actually gets worse when you plug it in. So in that video, I'll explain exactly how you can access those panic logs and what programs you can use to read that data. So I'm not going to show it in this video because it has already been done. But nevertheless, I have figured out what that issue with this phone is using panic logs, and the panic logs revealed that it is most likely either an issue with the charge port ribbon cable, or is an issue with the power button, or, and this is very, very unlikely, it is an issue with the NAND. Now, why I say it is most likely to be is the charge port ribbon cable is because of this. You got the charge port right there, and what do you have? You got this open spot right here, and if you look super close, it's not looking the hottest. It is pretty beaten up down there, and that is actually where the charge port ribbon cable is. So it very likely needs to be replaced. I'm going to be replacing a whole bunch of stuff. I already have a new charge port ribbon cable assembly, or whatever you want to call it. I also just straight out, I'm not even going to bother just replacing the back glass. I want a full body. So I bought also a new body for this as well, and also a new screen. Now for this particular iPhone, I have kind of done disassemblies for this in the past, and it is, I'd say, relatively straightforward. I don't believe that I need to show a whole lot. What I can say is that for the iPhone 11, it is one of the easiest phones to work on because there's very few screws in comparison to many of the others. So instead, what I'm going to do is just a straight up time lapse. So you guys are going to see how I go about this for a very short period of time, and probably about 20 seconds. Well, we are on the final stretch here. I'm going and just doing the programming so I can transfer True Tone over. But as you can see here, I've got everything in place. So let's get True Tone copied over. There we go. I just noticed something. This is a transferable IC chip right here. And I know that this is just glued down. And I've got the original screen here. I wonder if I should transfer that chip over. I'll ponder about that. I've done some basic stuff to get this set up. I just wanted to test the screen before I do anything more. I have decided to go and transfer over the TC chip, or whatever you want to call it. Where is it? Where is this thing called? IC chip? Yeah, IC, that makes more sense. Integrated circuit, not... what? I don't know. What does TC stand for? The only thing is I'm concerned I'm going to destroy the screen trying to get it installed. I'm putting in the original battery from the other phone, and I'm doing this just for one particular reason, is that I do not recall what the battery health was. I have a feeling that the battery health was not great. Now the screen turns on. It looks beautiful. Let's just check for dead spots. If there's a dead spot, my finger will immediately release from that icon and it'll just drop it wherever that spot was. Very good. Looks good and healthy. Let's see what it says in here. There's going to be two issues. Actually, there's going to be a few issues. One of them is Face ID not being detected. That's because it is over here. The other one that should pop up is the issue with the screen not being an original part. I should think that would be in the About section once it picks it up. There it is. Display unknown. So once I transfer that IC chip over, that message should disappear. And what's the battery health? 85%. That's right on the edge. I think I'm just going to replace the battery. Consider it a completely refurbished phone. Let's go over and get that IC chip transferred. Now, if we were trying to save the screen, what I'm doing here isn't really the best. What I've got here is it's still kind of stuck to the screen, but I don't care about the screen. The screen is going to make some popping noises. Guaranteed. It is going to make some popping noises because I'm heating up the screen more than it should be. There we go. That looks good. Okay, let's get this chip cleaned up. Having a lot of difficulties getting this stuff off, more so than other versions. Alright, I think that's about as good as I can do. Let's get this thing out. So here's the new screen, and right around here, there it is. Right there is the new place where the pads are going, where that chip's going to be going. I mean, like, they usually go and want to remove those balls, but I've seen on other videos where they don't. I'm definitely going to try at least doing it without having to remove those balls, because that can be a bit of a pain, especially in this particular area of the phone. I'm going to see if I can just utilize the pre-existing solder that's already there. First, we got to get that up. It's stuck down. The reason why we got to get it up is because if we don't, there is a chance that it could damage the screen underneath. And we can't heat it. We got to put a piece of metal behind this first before we can move on. Oh, it's coming up very easily. Look at that. All right, that's up. I'm just gonna put a razor blade behind there to absorb any excess heat. Now, there's a method that I saw this one guy on YouTube try, where he took a giant blob of solder and he put it on the back of the chip while he was working on it, and it did phenomenally in transferring heat to the chip in order to melt the solder. And because of that, you didn't need to use a heat gun. And I think that's brilliant, because if there's one way you're going to damage your screen, it's with the heat gun, and a lot less likely with a soldering iron. If there's too much on there, one thing that can happen is, I'm just going to dab a little bit about this. One big problem that can happen if there's too much flux is that the chip can float on top of it instead of connecting. You really don't want that. Time to collect one heck of a big piece of solder on the tip. Now, as far as I know, the pin is supposed to be bottom right corner. Flux. Doesn't need to be a lot of flux. Just a little dab. Darn it. I'm starting to wonder if this is going to work on this particular one simply because the chip's so long. Okay, I finished soldering it all together there as best I could. I'm really not sure if it's going to work. Display is still showing as an unknown part, which means I have failed with trying to do the chip transfer. I was struggling a lot. I could still try. I could remove the chip again and try doing a reball on the chip and just go from there. I definitely could do that. But it is such a royal pain to do that job. And I'm still quite new at it, so I'm worried also that I'll destroy the screen in the process. We'll see. I'll see what I can do. Well, I tried doing it again with the chip, moving the chip over, and I completely and totally failed. So I've given up. I had to. We're going to have the unknown display message, and there isn't much I can do about it. I'm just going to continue on with this. I'm moving over the earpiece and Face ID stuff over to the new screen right now, and we're really close to finishing this phone. Alright, so there's the new battery. Let's give her a test. Now with the new operating system, iOS version 18.1.1, it will now show unverified, but it'll still tell you what the battery health percentage is if it's an aftermarket battery. This shouldn't be here. It might disappear after I do maybe like a reset or something, because I'm pretty sure that the Face ID is working. I have noticed that sometimes it glitches if you turn off the phone and on, etc. multiple times without the Face ID being connected. Let's just test the Face ID and see if it comes on. It should. I see no reason why it wouldn't. Yeah, it works. Battery says unverified, 100%, so we can finally do the installation. Everything is good and healthy. Put our shields back in. There you go. You can see now that the Face ID thing has disappeared after a reset, or just restart the phone, I should say. Everything is good. Let's just throw it back together, get the Penelope screws in. I don't know why, but that's oddly hard to get in. The only thing that I can think of that would cause that would be some loose screws. Ah, there we go. Really don't know why that was so hard to put in. We got the Penelope screws in. Phone is working great, fully tested, fully working, 100% battery health, and does it ever look nice? Oh man, does it ever look clean. The back's got a bunch of fingerprints on it, but it's pretty much brand new now. I'm so happy with that. So we went from this creature here, super beaten up, to this. So that's all there is for this video, guys. If you like the video, please do leave a like. And if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.